Yes, all right, Gary, you're up. If everyone will stand, we'll do the pledges.
The United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for the blessings that you have given us. We strive to do your work daily to for the work we do for this county and to make sure that it's operated correctly. We do our part with your help. Watch over our first responders, our military, and our employees. Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be a while for it. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Okay, anyone have any questions on the bills that were sent to us?
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the bills. Any further discussion? All in favor? Is that not working? It's on. Uh-huh.
It was on.
Oh, okay. All right, Amy, do you have any payroll?
Yes, we have payroll for tomorrow, $878,044.18.
And y'all should have got the email from Amy.
And then I do have some new and separated employees.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have Balthazar that left for part-time, went to full-time in the airport. We have Francisca Tapia, part-time custodian, Marta Piedra, part-time custodian, Walter Schaefer, part-time airport, Megan Massard, she's full-time in adult probation, Jody Fleetwood, part-time custodian, and then Cheryl McDowell, full-time sheriff deputy. And then we had separated employee Kelly Martin in the airport and Micah Adamson in the sheriff's department. So,
Okay, thank you.
do you want this?
Yes, I made a note to get it from you. Thank you. Okay, I don't think we need to take any action on that because we all have like the blanket payroll approval. So, all right, item 5, any additions or corrections to our previous commissioners court meeting?
No corrections or additions to the regular meeting as of February 13th, 2023.
Thank you. Item 6, any public comment? Okay. Item 7, consider and or approve the updated application for employment. Amy did us just updated our employment application for us to use, and this will be online.
Yes, it will be online. Also, we'll have, of course, copies in the treasurer's office. We did have to take off the date of when for education. I guess that was something that we weren't supposed to be asking on applications, but other than that, it's just kind of updated. It's the exact same application that we used before, with just that change.
Okay,
Looks good.
yeah, it looked really good.
Thank you.
Yep,
You're welcome.
it's just very clean.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so do I have a motion?
I'll make approve the updated application for employment.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Item 8 is to consider and or approve the Arts 2023 Renewal Confirmation Program Agreement. Do you want to speak to that, Amy?
Yes, the Arts is Affordable Care Act. So what this is just another renewal for that. They keep up track with our insurance. So we send those monthly on who's part-time, how many hours, and full-time on their pay. And they pack these up with apps. So they don't charge us. They can waive the fees. And then they send out our forms, our 1099-Cs at the end of the year. So y'all will be actually getting those. Okay. Or they'll go out with them for those. We mail them out too, so. But this is just the renewal for the new year.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Arts 2023 renewal confirmation program agreement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? I'm gonna give this to you. That is a sign. Thank you. Item 9 is to consider and or approve the benchmark contract for juvenile probation and annex. Both of their copier contracts are due to expire in March, I believe it is. And so we contacted Benchmark and she gave us a couple of quotes on some, the juvenile, this is exactly what juvenile has at present. They're just upgrading to a newer model. But as far as the annex copier, you know, the big copier that sets out by probation, really probation is the only one that consistently uses it. However, some of the offices do come down and use it when they need to make like large amounts of copies instead of using their little personal
The only
printers.
problem I have with that big copier, and I've asked a lot of them, how much do they need it? Can they do it with their own copiers? They said they could. It's costing us money, but we stack a lot of boxes of paper in there and it just disappears.
Well,
Oh, who's using it?
the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody at the annex uses that paper,
Yeah.
even if it's just for their small printers, they'll
Yeah.
come down and get that paper. So
So
that's.
I ask,
Goes.
and they do use it for adult probation.
Yeah.
Uh,
So but we did get a step down. We don't need a copier that big because we don't make the volume that
okay.
warrants
This
that.
new one,
So this is a little smaller copier. It'll be the exact same as the one in.
okay, I'd be okay with that.
So,
Josh, have we looked into getting one central contract for all the copier? I know we talked about that.
we have, and I talked to Shannon about that. And there are so many renewal dates that are all over the place. It would be hard to go to one. And she said it's not going to save us any money. This is what Shannon from Benchmark told us.
Because not all of them are benchmark though, right? Is the I don't think
Carrie
the
has
library's bench-
Tascosa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have Xerox.
well, which is Benchmark
Okay.
now. Yeah, they,
But we
yeah,
haven't asked
same
the other,
company.
we haven't asked the other two if they would money.
well, Tascosa is the only other one we have. Because Xerox is Benchmark.
Yeah, that was a contractual thing with the Xerox. We had a better deal if Xerox did a service for someone like juvenile probation, I think. Xerox.
I think the library does too, don't they?
I think
Do they-
benchmark.
Benchmarks do.
Well, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
through benchmark, but Xerox does the maintenance.
Right, right. And Craig has reviewed this contract. He suggested some word changes. I got with Shannon and she emailed me over the weekend and their legal made those changes that we requested. So everything's good as far as the contract. I hear a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the benchmark contract for juvenile probation and annex copier.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 10 is to consider and or approve Hutchinson County, excuse me, Constable Precinct 1 racial profiling report. And of course, this is their yearly report. I think we approved the Sheriff's Department and Constable 2 last time. And Constable 1 has filed under the exempt status, which he can do because he doesn't making traffic stops.
And that's why it doesn't show.
Yes.
Like the numbers. and
Yes,
stuff.
that's why, because he falls under the exempt status. Yeah. I hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Constable Precinct 1 racial profiling report.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 11 is to consider and or approve Hutchinson County Constable Precinct 2 T. Cole Peace Officer License per statute requirements. And Angelica, do you want to speak to that?
This is just something that we have to do. We have to do it on or before the 270th day after the date that we take office. I'll provide this to you as the commission. So,
And she provided us with her certificate.
yeah, it's just my peace officer's license.
Thank you.
Make a motion, we approve the peace officer license acceptance.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 12 is to consider and or approve North Plains Electric Cooperative notification to construct overhead electric line. And this is a request from North Plains for an overhead line at
So south of County
Yes.
Road E.
Yeah.
County Road.
400 foot south and approximately 0.25 miles south of County Road E. Across a certain roadway, County Road 15A.
Now, usually we don't charge if it's somebody that has
We don't,
a farm or ranch or,
Wait,
yeah.
I don't know what the fee is in that.
Well, I don't know why they're crossing the road there.
I didn't have to go look at it.
Yeah, and it didn't say.
I don't know what they're doing. They're putting an electric line across
I
there.
don't think there's any problem. with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So if I could motion to approve the North Plains Electric Co-op construction of overhead power line.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right. All right, item 13 is to consider and or approve Hutchinson County credit card policy. Did you need to speak to this?
I can just kind of go over the basics, I guess.
Sure.
The subcommittee, policy subcommittee met and kind of went over this. I just kind of took various different counties' policies and kind of combined them to make something that made sense for us. So how the credit card program will work. Each department will submit a request form for the number of cards that they would like for their department. Once I get all of those, I will combine them into a list to bring to court so that the commissioner's court can approve each one of those cards before they are issued. There'll be a request form, and then once they're approved and I actually get the card, each card holder will sign an agreement stating that they are responsible for that card. They have an opportunity to leave their cards with a custodian if they don't, if the elected official has one in their name or they order one for their department, but they don't want to be responsible. They do have the option to either leave it in my office and just sign it out as needed. The use of the credit cards can be, we decided that we would use them for travel arrangements, like online registrations, any kind of online vendor purchases that require a credit card payment. You really can't set up an account with them. Utilities, emergency purchases, inmate meals when they are being transported. And then we left in a kind of an other services that they can ask to use. It says upon
Get pre-approval.
yeah, kind of a pre-approval. So if, they need to run over to Amarillo, but there's not a account set up with a vendor, they can call and say, hey, I've got to go over here and I use the card, just so that we've got kind of a knowledge of it beforehand.
So these cards are gonna have to be used for hotel stays,
Yes,
at conventions and,
yes.
okay.
And so all your travel arrangements will be booked on these cards. You can request,
But not mileage. If you-
No, mileage will still be reimbursed.
Okay.
To the employee.
Can you still be reimbursed if you use your own card?
We did add a line in there that says due to the availability of county-owned credit cards, reimbursement for the use of personal credit cards for county expenses purchased after the implementation of the credit card program will be denied. And this just keeps, because we have a lot of people getting reimbursed right now, and it's not a good policy because basically we are asking you to give the county a loan. You know, you're paying for a county expense rather than the county paying for the county expense. So it is a better practice to have a business card that you use for business expenses. And so the exceptions to this rule must be approved by the commissioner's court. So if for some reason you do have to use a personal card, you're not completely denied, but you do have to come to the court for approval on that.
If you have to use this card for a vendor like supplies for the and stuff like that, would it be better to just do it like we've been doing it or pay for it with the card?
How have you been
If
doing
it's
it?
a vendor,
How have you been doing it?
I mean, they've always been under $1,000. So I do it through the vendor.
Right, and they send you an invoice?
Yeah.
Yeah,
if there is
Send
an
the county
account,
invoice.
if there is the county account set up, you have to use the county account. So you can't take your county credit card and go to Ace Hardware and use it because we already have an.
we have an account
Set
there.
up there, so you would have to still put it on the
Okay.
county account.
But like if I go to Walmart and buy a vacuum cleaner, which I did, I had to use the county
Yes.
credit card.
Just call and
From
let
one
me
of the
know
departments.
so that when we get the statement, I know that it's been done. So just, just holler at me and say, hey, I've got to run to Walmart. But you would be responsible for making sure that they don't charge sales tax.
So you'd want me to use the credit card for that?
Yes.
Okay.
The county credit card, you still, there's no reimbursements if you have to if you get in a situation where you have to use your own card or you do use your own card, you're not gonna get reimbursed for anything. Pretty much what.
No, she said
No.
there are exceptions that would be up to our approval.
So say you go to Lowe's and you need to buy lumber and your county credit card won't work. And you have to use your own card. Then you would have to come to the court to ask for reimbursement.
It'd be put in the regular meeting because they approved, but
Ask a question regarding this.
Sure.
So is that gonna pertain to like when we go to classes? Because a lot of our reimbursements we're getting is we're buying our own meals, those meal tickets.
Meals and mileage will still be reimbursed to the employee because you get paid a
Per diem.
daily-
You get per
a
diem for
daily
that.
per diem.
Yeah.
Basically.
The only issue that we're running into is sometimes paychecks and stamping are made in one class. To get out all the time, so it's.
And, it's usually standard practice. The only other, way that you could do something like that would be to do an advance, a travel advance. But then you would be responsible for returning any money that was unused or something. It becomes kind of more of a hassle.
Kind of a grayer area there.
Right. And with using the card, so because we are limited to $10 for a meal on, I think it's
Breakfast.
10, 15 and 25. So say $10 is breakfast, but you go and you eat for $11, then you're responsible for reimbursing the county for $1. And somebody's got to keep track of whether that reimbursement was made. And it's just kind of a big hassle. But policy right now is that you would do your own meals and then get reimbursed.
Would not put the meals on the credit card.
Right.
Now, is there a tax exempt card that goes with that credit card?
There's a tax exempt form that's located on my webpage that you can pull anytime.
Well, I mean, like if we pay for a hotel room.
We're not exempt from hotel tax.
Okay,
We're only exempt from sales tax.
Okay, any other questions on the credit card policy? Do I hear a motion to accept the credit card policy?
Make a motion, we approve the credit card policy as presented.
Second,
I'll say.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 14 is to consider and or approve the interlocal agreement with TIPS. And this is the purchasing group that we have to contract with in order to get the roofs done, correct? And plus, and the parts, right? Yep.
Yes.
Craig has looked over the agreement and does not have any,
And it is a free membership.
yes, he doesn't have any issues with the form.
It's free. It doesn't cost anything to be a member.
Yes, that's correct.
Make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with TIPS.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 15 is to consider and or approve the contract with Paragon Multifamily Roofing, Inc. These are the company that is going to put our new roofs on the courthouse and the jail, correct, Ben?
Yes, this is what we've talked about before. And the dollar figure that's listed on that does also include the bond fees of $11,700, but we will be reimbursed for tax for the bond fees. So our the total contract price is $260 plus that.
Always plus the bond fee.
That's including the bond fee,
Oh,
the $271.
Be 271 total.
But we will be getting a supplemental check to cover the bond. Craig looked at it.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Paragon Multifamily Roofing for $271,700.
Second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 16 is to consider and or approve trade-in and transfer of county vehicles. Y'all have a list of the vehicles.
The list we approved last time, but we're making a change to it, which the only thing we're changing is the 2011 GMC pickup that was going to be traded off. We want to transfer it to the airport. And then the airport has a 2007 Crown Victoria, which is not much good anymore. So it could be traded in by the sheriff's department. That's only two.
So the vehicles that they're going to trade are the 2012 Chevy pickup and the 2007 Crown Vic.
Yes, the courthouse pickup 2012 and the Crown Victoria.
Right.
Yeah.
And the 2009 Chevy pickup,
That is going to courthouse maintenance.
where's that coming? Oh, it's coming,
It's
it's
coming
one of the
back.
IT ones. And the other IT's going to the airport.
The two Tahoes go to the IT. And
So we've got one Tahoe with a bad transmission.
yep, it's gonna be
That
fixed.
we're gonna get fixed for how much?
We'll have to get another quote on it, but I think sheriff had like 6,000-7,000 on it, something like
Okay.
that, but
And then we have another Tahoe that's got 134,000 miles on it that's going to the IT, right?
correct. And
So I had a thought that, I mean, both of those vehicles are old. And, we need a transmission. I don't know what else is wrong with it, but hopefully nothing. And then the other one's already got 134,000 miles on it. So I don't know if it makes any sense to you guys to possibly look into just getting some new vehicles for IT. That wouldn't have to necessarily be a Tahoe, but something that they could haul some of their equipment. And we wouldn't have to buy another vehicle for a good 10 years.
They don't get many miles. They get 10,000-12,000 a year.
Right.
They
Yeah, so it's not like they're gonna,
doesn't get many.
they might even last longer than 10 years. I doubt these two vehicles, these Tahoes are gonna last that long,
Probably
but
a little over 200,000 maybe, but if we have to budget for that, that'll give us time to budget for it and then trade them in, or maybe, I don't know.
So if we do this, we could still. If that happens, you can still get rid of the Tahoes later, but I don't know if they drive enough miles to justify new vehicles or not, but that's debatable.
Yeah, we've got a lot of old vehicles. So I mean, if we do that, then everybody's gonna be asking for new vehicles. So, I mean,
I don't know if that would work, but one thing we might consider is maybe the vehicles that do get used a lot, maybe replacing them a little quicker and passing vehicles down that don't get used so much with maybe 50,000-60,000 miles instead of 130,000-140,000.
Yeah.
Right now, when they're getting passed down, they already need to be gone, and we don't need to keep them, so.
Right.
But if you did it a little quicker on, like sheriff vehicles or possibly even road and bridge where they use them more, pass them down at 60,000 or something. So.
You get a lot of years out
I
of
think that's
it.
better proactively, because I mean, it sounds cool now, but in 7 to 10 years, when we're buying 15 new vehicles again, when all of these new vehicles have broken down,
Yeah.
we're gonna be 600,000 into the budget.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to budget for when it gets there, so.
I mean, things
So-
like that where they don't get a lot of miles, I mean, they sell used cars on buy board and all that stuff all the time too.
Mhm.
So maybe
Do what?
They sell used vehicles on buy board all the time too, so I mean.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be new vehicles,
right.
and we don't have to buy new vehicles every time, so.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve this? Yes.
I don't have a list.
Here.
Here's-
I'm sorry.
Oh, you go back. Okay.
Oh. Okay,
Well,
thank you.
One Kelly.
sure, we can not first.
Good thing you made fun of it.
We'll give Chris one.
I think I sent it to you in the Dropbox.
Thanks.
I was thinking.
Maybe I didn't.
You did. I looked at them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember if I did or not.
I didn't make a copy, but
Maybe looking at new vehicles more often. Would it make more sense to trade in the Tahoe that's broken? Instead of the pickup that's not? And give the pickup that's not broken to IT until we can get on a rotation.
Well, that pickup, that 2012 pickup that we're trading, the courthouse maintenance, there is something wrong with it, isn't there?
Yeah, it's, 2012's got problems and
I mean, it may not have $7,000 worth of problems, but
we're keeping both the IT pickups, even though they have a lot of miles on them. So really, there's nothing.
but they're going to a couple of spots that don't drive many miles at all.
Courthouse gets very.
I mean, the courthouse gets probably the most mileage when Eddie has to go to Amarillo to pick up parts or when elections need.
The airport
And
really
pull the
doesn't
trailer.
Yeah.
pay anything.
No,
Yeah, airport,
down on-
yeah, minimal, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they had the 2007 Crown Vic.
But I don't know, trade in a vehicle that doesn't have a transmission, and I don't know how much you expect to get out of that.
True.
If it had a bad transmission, it's pretty much zero. They're not gonna give anything for it. They haul it off for it.
Yeah.
Kind of like this Crown Victoria is gonna be traded off. It's
Yeah, we're not gonna get much for
not
that.
gonna get much.
Okay, any other questions, Alicia?
No.
Okay. All right, did someone make a motion or no?
I don't think so. Make a motion to approve the trade-in and transfer of county vehicles.
Second.
No, second it. Oh, you said.
Oh, Chris got a second over here.
Good.
It's being quiet. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Thanks for your work on that, Ben. All right, item 17 is to consider and or approve any ARP grant projects. We don't have any grant projects this time. We might have some next meeting, so. Item
Everyone
8,
get the financial statement.
yes. Did everyone get those that Alicia mailed to us or emailed out? Okay, great. All right, item 18 is to consider and or approve the burn ban or rescind the burn ban.
Currently, our ground index is 502. And so we're kind of hovering right there at that point that we usually start going to the burn ban. We have a, we had a little bit of a, I don't know if I call it rain, it was more like a mud, but
It was raining mud.
It didn't stick.
or I guess the biggest factor is that we haven't had an increase in wildland fires. Luckily, we haven't had the large ones yet, but normally when we get over the 500 mark is when we start to see our bigger fires. That's why we usually set that mark is the burn ban. So at this time, I recommend that we go on the burn ban until we can get some significant moisture to knock our ground index back down to
We've not been in a burn ban for a while.
It's been, well, it's actually, once we got some snow about a month ago, we actually revoked the burn ban. So the snow kind of gives people the ability to burn. We had a lot of control burns that were called over the month time frame. So we got a lot of people taken care of for that month. But it is a inconvenient for people, especially that live in the areas of the county. But in these situations, it's you just got to do it, and hopefully we'll get some good moisture and then it'll work soon.
We need it, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, do I hear a motion then?
Motion, we approve the burn ban.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I'll go back. I want to go back up to the ARP grant. I forgot about this. So last time we have voted to approve the transaction window for probation in the annex. We had rejected Judge Wysong's last time. Because we wanted to combine those to try to save money. And so we kind of basically screwed her over and said, come back later. So I want to make a motion that we approve that project pending any updated estimate. Total.
So we're,
One of the reasons too that we didn't agree on hers was because of the frost level. And it was going to have to.
require an engineer.
Disagreed on engineering, it had to be engineered.
Right, because of the extensive work that was going to need to be done. And
Engineering, should bring it back.
I've emailed Amanda to visit with her about that. So, that we're not totally rejecting her. Everyone else is getting it and she's not.
Right.
We just need to see if we can come up with maybe a different plan. So we can cut the cost down, so we don't have to incur the cost of getting an engineer. And therefore, then that engineer cost is more than the actual project.
Right.
So we're working on.
The other project didn't require engineering.
Right.
It was just a replacement of glass.
It was a much smaller scope,
And
yeah.
it was under the dollar limit and under the engineering.
I have emailed her.
I don't-
Have the request for qualifications from some engineers. We've got kind of a pool that whoever, I don't know if this is a project that's headed up by the commissioner because of it's a facility thing or if it's a department thing. But whoever is over the project is glad, they're welcome to come into my office and look at the pool of engineers. Figure out which one is most qualified for that job. And then ask for a proposal on what they would recommend the solution to be for whatever she's asking.
I visited with Amanda, and I don't think there's any way we're gonna cut that down, so we're gonna have to have an engineer, I guess.
Right, well,
That's what, talk to her about what you said.
Yeah.
I thought was a good idea, but the way they're set up, they have to get those people to come in because it's private, and so they'll have to have the wall and the glass inside. And And I wanted to get rid of that glass on the outside. I mean, it's not a speak through, it's just a bulletproof glass. But, and we don't need to do anything to the walls, just the glass. But I don't know how we're gonna do that. They like to know who's out there. They've got a bench set up out there with all their brochures.
Now, let me have a chance to visit with her.
Okay. And then I've talked to the contractor about whether the prices have gone up. They're busy with the courthouse. They're doing a whole courthouse. And it'll be, that was a week ago, and he said it'd be 2 weeks before he got over there to look
To
at,
do juveniles?
yeah, to start that one and to look at this one again. So
Okay.
if you'll talk to them.
I mean, but this is really the only company we have found that really
Yeah,
does
yeah.
this.
There's just not hardly anybody doing it.
Mhm.
Nobody.
That's why I wanted, I mean, if we can't get around the engineer, there's no use in just kicking it down the can. I mean,
Right,
kicking it
right.
down the road. I mean, that's why I made the motion to approve it pending that. So where when she gets that in 2 weeks, if it's the day after, Tuesday after we meet,
Well,
she can go to it.
the thing
I
about
mean, if
that
they
is
want to second it or not, I mean, that's fine, but
the cost may change once you get an engineer involved. So,
It's gonna change a lot.
Mhm.
you don't know what to approve until you get the engineering. done.
I mean, it's not gonna change the project though.
Not the project, but it could
That's
change.
why
I think we're all agreeable that the project needs to happen. It's just how it happens.
Yeah, and to what extent? So you need to talk to her, I guess,
Yeah, yeah,
before the end of this week.
Yes.
Be back open.
I've reached out to her. We just haven't connected yet.
Okay.
It seems like if you're doing projects on a building and it's part of the building or walls or whatever, that should be the commissioner's responsibility to get the project done.
Right.
right.
And.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. And Gary's been working on
work with the
that.
Department head.
Yes.
It needs to be the commissioner that oversees the project and
Yeah.
and gets it taken care of.
And that's what's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So. So I guess what I'm saying is you get with the engineer, do whatever,
yeah,
do the project, not her.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, so back on 17, Chris did make a motion to go ahead and approve that project. Is anyone going to second that?
That just doesn't come back to be approved.
Okay, so if there's no second, then it will die for lack of a second. And we'll hopefully move forward with something for Amanda quickly, so we can
yeah.
figure something out.
At least she knows it's going to get done.
Well, hopefully she knows that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, item 19 is to consider and or approve disposal of obsolete office equipment. We have one. I'm saying it's from Alicia. It's HP PageWide Pro that's located in her office. That is a printer and is no longer working.
Motion to approve the disposal of that.
And I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 20, accept certificates of completion from elected or appointed officials.
Yes, we had Amy Back, Hutchinson County Treasurer, submitted a certificate for cybersecurity awareness training. And then we did get Angela Hartraff, Constable Precinct 2 certificate for peace officer license.
Did you have
I'd be able to go ahead and submit my new constables?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll work here.
And. Okay.
And then also Angelica Hartraff, Constable Precinct 2 certificate for newly elected constables, T. Cole. Yeah.
All right, item 21 is to consider and or approve requests for use of the club rooms at the Border Library or Fritz.
I don't have any this time.
No, okay. 22, consider and or approve line item changes, transfers and or budget amendments.
I just had the one out of transfers. One was for the approved ARP projects from last meeting. And then there is one for the county extension agent that they would like to move 2,500 from the FCH travel or the home ec travel. We don't have one of those agents right now. So she wants to move 2,500 from that to the ag travel.
Don't have any questions?
Make a motion, we approve the line item changes and budget amendments as presented.
Motion and second, any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, item 23 is to consider and or approve advertising, opening, accepting or awarding bids. We have the bids for the pickups for Road and Bridge. Dwayne called me this morning and he had got a piece of metal in his eye, so he had to go to the doctor this morning and get that taken care of. So he wasn't able to be here, but he did say that both of the bids, they bid them exactly as they had requested, and the bid from Country was a little bit lower, and that would be his choice to just go with the lower bid. Y'all have a chance to look over those. I think Felicia sent them out, right?
And just to publicly announce that the bids did come in from Country Chevrolet for $40,768 each. For two of them, the total was $81,536. And then from Duncan Chevrolet in Stratford, they quoted a price of $46,130 per unit for a total of $92,260.
Any questions?
Kind of surprised that there's a couple trade-ins going in on those, and those aren't priced out before you're approving the purchase price.
Right, and the reason is because these are being built, they don't know when they'll be received, and so they can't give a trade-in value until they get the, because the market is changing.
I understand that, but that's giving somebody the deal before they give you a price. So your trade-in, it may be $500 or $5,000, you don't know.
It's kind of a weird market that we're in, that we have to have cars built before you can get them. And they won't build them until you order them.
Yeah. So it's a catch-22,
Right.
but Ben's right. You don't know what you're gonna get for them. The price is on up, now it's going back
Well,
down.
so the way that I look at it is the most that you're going to pay is $81,530.
Yeah,
But it doesn't
but
include
What Ben is
the-
saying,
we need to be accountable for what we get for our trade-in. It shouldn't be up to them to set the price. If we don't agree with it, we need to be able to deny it. But once you order these vehicles, that's a done deal. Then you got to take whatever they offer you. If they offer you $100, ain't nothing you do about it then.
Well,
So
couldn't we sell them ourselves on the auction?
we put them in auction
Yeah.
or post them.
Yeah.
And sell them that way, but it's doing it this way, I'm totally against. You need to get your price set on your trade-ins. I'd rather post it and sell
So,
it ourselves before I would trade it in with.
when they commit to trade-in value now, depending on like a year.
They could
possibly.
give us a price.
Duncan was the only one who quoted anything for a trade-in, and they quoted $4,000 for the trade-in. And it was only good for 30 days.
That would be hard to. Well, what is delivery date of these? There's nothing on those deals. We don't know when we'll get them,
I don't think they know.
so it may be 6 months or maybe a year, who knows?
So the only other. You could go back out for bid and state that they had to be on the lot.
I did look online, and there are vehicles out there. So you'd have to go somewhere else to get them, but you could look elsewhere.
But because it's over 50,000, they have to submit a bid, a sealed bid. Because the total is over.
And those are the only two people that submitted a bid, right? Because it was out there for bid. They're the only two that submitted a bid.
And you can deny both of these and go out for bid again, and, I mean, if you find you can invite them to make a bid.
We have to post it, but we could still buy them through co-op.
Well, if you go through co-op, you don't have to.
To go out for bid at all.
You
At
just-
all.
We don't have to put them out for bid if they're over 50,000, if we go to the co-op.
If you go through a co-op, no, you don't have to put it out.
So we could go elsewhere and get them through a co-op. If you wanted to do that.
Now we got two, we got buy board and the tips too now.
Hmm.
We got tips now that we can look at now that we're members for the sheriff's car.
I don't have a problem with the new vehicles. I do have a problem with the way they're doing the trade-ins. Because we don't know what we're getting for them.
I mean, guess once we get, if we approved this bid today, and then once we get the vehicles in, if we don't like what they're giving us for a trade, we can put them on the auction.
What would the
Keep 'em.
solution be though?
Whatever.
Like, I know you have an issue with it. Like, what would your, like doing it this way with trade and like, what would be the solution to make it better? I mean, I don't,
The only solution would be if you found them elsewhere and you could trade now, or that's why most cities and stuff do put them in auction or do post them. Is it any better? I don't know, but at least we did our due diligence. Will we get any more? I don't know, but
I mean, we can do
So the
that once,
solution is-
when that time
Sorry.
comes. Yeah,
the solution is if we don't like it, we just auction them off.
we just don't accept it.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just have to.
I would be fine with countries if we just are the understanding that if we don't agree with their trade-in value, to just take care of it ourselves.
yeah.
I agree with that.
Was that a motion? then?
Yeah, I heard said it.
I'll second.
All right, we have
You said
a motion and a second to approve the bid from Country Chevrolet for the two pickups. And any other discussion? All in favor? Okay, thank you. Nothing else on that, Lisa?
And I mean,
Okay, item 24, consider and or approve donations to Hutchinson County. Anybody got any money for us? Hey, no. Or items of value? Okay, item 25, accept reports from elected or appointed officials.
I received Dwayne Chisholm, Road Superintendent. He submitted reports for dates February 23rd, 2023 to February 26th, 2023. And Jerry Langwell, Fire Marshal, submitted monthly report for February 2023.
Okay, thank you. Item 26, discussion of county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. Anybody have anything?
I got one thing I'd like to talk about, and that's the generator here for the courthouse. And we've had a lot of problems when it was getting really cold and it wouldn't start. Had mechanics out here, several. And
Which is hard to come by.
we had some good mechanics look at it, and unfortunately, it's just a V10 Ford motor on natural gas. That's probably as good as it's going to get.
It has failed us a number of times.
Yeah, when we really needed it, when it was like zero, it just wouldn't work. So it was a kind of a cheap generator when it was put in,
But not dollar wise cheap.
not dollars cheap. It was pretty high.
Yeah.
Quality wise, it was pretty cheap. So it comes to conclusion, the only way to fix this is to replace it if we want to get it to where it will cold, start when it's cold.
So are you
I'd like to
thinking
look at
about
the options,
looking at
see
some
what it would
options and
cost.
maybe do an ARP project?
Yeah, I'll do an ARP. Doesn't mean we got to do it, but we could take a look at it.
Yes, absolutely.
So
So you're checking into that.
I would like to look into that and see what it would cost to update with a better quality generator.
Good.
It would be good for 20, 30 years down the road.
Good. Anybody else got anything?
We had some people get eyes, some flooring guys get eyes on the museum floor. We're gonna get that going now. And then I'm waiting on the scope of work for the library roof that we hope to probably do ARP. Like I said, we're gonna add some. The original scope of work didn't include taking we had Open Range look at it and they want to take the TPO around the parapet walls because they think some of the water's getting in, because those parapet walls are like 3 foot high. And the insurance only covers, lifting that TPO 3 to 4 inches above the roof. So they think that water, they tar it, but they think wrapping that TPO around will help ensure that Adobe won't get water through snow and rain and all that a little bit better. So waiting on that scope of work. I should have had it last week, but I'm gonna touch base. I sent an email this morning and hopefully get it this, get that going.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
Okay, anything?
Everything's going smooth at the airport.
We had the, that's good. We had the library's 83rd anniversary celebration. If anyone was able to attend, that was very nice. Library looks amazing. So y'all are doing a great job.
I'm really good.
Good. How many did you estimate?
I don't think we actually, I don't actually at this time have the numbers on.
Yeah, there was.
We
Big crowd.
decided to go into the historical information of some family, people that weren't able to attend and still come in.
Good.
But we even had scrapbooks, from way back when, so those were very interesting, that what through as well.
Good.
So it turned out really good.
Anything else that y'all can think of? Okay. All right, item 26 is struck off tax properties and tax deeds, and I have none. So
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn then.
we have a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?